Single women often wear a mask of confidence, but behind that facade lies a labyrinth of secrets they'd rather you never uncover. Today, we'll dive deep into female psychology to reveal the 7 biggest secrets single women hide from men. Each one exposes a hidden layer of their thoughts, feelings, and behaviors that most men miss. Stick around until the end, because the last secret will completely change how you understand women. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you've ever encountered something similar, share your story in the comments below. We'd love to hear it. Chapter 1. They love intimacy, but hide their desires. Contrary to the societal image of women as being less focused on physical connection than men, single women often crave intimacy just as much, if not more. However, they often feel compelled to conceal these desires, fearing judgment or being labeled in a way that could harm their reputation. Instead of openly expressing their feelings, many single women rely on subtle cues like lingering touches, playful banter, or deep and sustained eye contact to signal their interest. These seemingly minor actions often hold significant meaning, but they can be easy to miss if you're not attuned to them. This secrecy stems from deeply ingrained cultural conditioning. For generations, women have been taught to protect their reputations by downplaying their interest in intimacy. Society often enforces the idea that a woman who is too open about her desires risks being misunderstood or unfairly categorized. As a result, many women adopt a more guarded approach, choosing to let their actions speak louder than their words. This dynamic creates a scenario where women expect men to interpret their signals, take the lead, and prove themselves trustworthy before intimacy becomes a possibility. However, there's an important twist to this narrative. Women tend to respect and feel more drawn to men who don't rush into physicality. A man who takes the time to build emotional and intellectual connections first often stands out in a world where many rush into surface-level interactions. Women value this kind of patience because it demonstrates self-control, respect, and a genuine interest in who they are beyond physical attraction. This approach allows them to feel safer and more comfortable, which is crucial for fostering deeper connections. Understanding this dynamic is vital for anyone looking to build meaningful relationships. When you approach with patience and confidence, you create an environment that allows her to feel at ease. By showing a sincere interest in her thoughts, passions, and experiences, you signal that you value her as a whole person, not just as an object of desire. This kind of attention can have a profound impact on how safe and appreciated she feels in your presence, encouraging her to lower her guard and reveal her authentic self. As trust develops, you'll start to see the walls of cultural conditioning begin to crumble. Her true self, including her desires and longing for intimacy, will naturally start to emerge. This isn't something that happens immediately. It requires time, patience, and consistent effort to create a space where she feels truly understood. But when she reaches that point of comfort and trust, the bond you share will deepen in ways that go far beyond surface-level attraction. It's also important to recognize that every woman's journey with intimacy is unique. While societal norms shape behavior, individual experiences, personal values, and past relationships play a significant role as well. Some women may feel more comfortable being direct, while others may require even more reassurance and time before they're ready to express their desires fully. By paying close attention to her individual cues and respecting her boundaries, you demonstrate emotional intelligence and a deep respect for her as a person. Moreover, this understanding of her hidden desires isn't just about interpreting subtle signals or waiting for the right moment. It's about creating an environment where she feels completely free to be herself. This means cultivating trust, showing empathy, and making it clear that your interest goes beyond the physical. When a woman feels genuinely valued and understood, she becomes more comfortable expressing her desires openly. This level of honesty and vulnerability can lead to a connection that feels both fulfilling and transformative. Finally, It's worth noting that this process is as much about your own personal growth as it is about building a connection with her. Learning to approach relationships with patience, emotional intelligence, and respect not only strengthens your bond, but also helps you develop into a more empathetic and confident individual. In creating a space for her to reveal her authentic self, you also learn more about yourself, building the foundation for a partnership that thrives on mutual understanding, respect, and emotional depth. In the end, uncovering this hidden truth about women's desires is less about deciphering signals and more about building a safe, supportive, and genuine connection. When you approach with kindness, curiosity, and emotional awareness, you'll find that the rewards go far beyond physical intimacy. You'll create a relationship built on trust, honesty, and authenticity, a bond that enriches both of your lives in meaningful and lasting ways. Chapter 2. They have unrealistic expectations yet often settle for less. Many single women harbor a detailed mental checklist of qualities they desire in a partner: tall, confident, ambitious, financially stable, emotionally available, funny, attentive, and, ideally, attractive as well. This list can feel daunting to any man attempting to measure up. Yet, the irony is that most women are fully aware that their perfect partner doesn't exist. The truth is, while they may fantasize about their ideal man, they frequently end up settling for partners who fulfill only a fraction of their expectations. This apparent contradiction stems from a mix of insecurities and societal pressures. Women often dream big when imagining their future partner, influenced by romantic ideals perpetuated by movies, books, and social media. These fantasies provide a comforting vision of what a perfect relationship could look like. However, the reality of dating often challenges these lofty ideals. The fear of being alone, missing out on companionship, or being judged for their single status can lead many women to lower their standards or overlook certain traits they once considered non-negotiable. Interestingly, this compromise isn't necessarily negative. It's a reflection of human nature and the realization that connection and compatibility often matter more than a perfect checklist. Settling doesn't mean a lack of standards. It can indicate maturity and the ability to prioritize emotional connection over superficial traits. Many women eventually understand that the qualities that truly make a relationship work, respect, kindness, shared values, and emotional support, can't always be measured by their initial expectations. However, the process of reconciling these unrealistic standards with reality can create tension in their interactions with men. On one hand, they might subconsciously test potential partners to see if they measure up to their ideals. On the other, they may feel disappointed when reality doesn't align with fantasy, leading to feelings of frustration or dissatisfaction. For men, navigating this dynamic requires confidence and authenticity. The key isn't to try to check every box on her list, it's to show her who you truly are and what you bring to the table. Women respect men who are unapologetically themselves, who don't bend over backward to meet impossible ideals, but instead showcase their unique qualities. Highlight your strengths and be upfront about what you value in a relationship. This approach not only helps build genuine connections, but also subtly encourages her to shift her focus from perfection to compatibility. Another important element is setting boundaries. Women are often drawn to men who have their own standards and self-respect. If you feel like you're being tested or held to unreasonable expectations, address it calmly but assertively. Let her know what you're willing to bring into the relationship and what you expect in return. This doesn't just establish balance, it also signals that you're serious about finding a meaningful partnership, not just playing along with unrealistic games. Over time, many women come to appreciate men who challenge their initial expectations in constructive ways. By showing her that a relationship is built on mutual respect, effort, and shared values, not a fantasy checklist, you can redefine what she views as a truly fulfilling connection. Ultimately, women don't want perfection, they want authenticity, security, and a partner who values them for who they are, not who they pretend to be. When you confidently stand firm in your identity and refuse to mold yourself into an impossible ideal, you become someone worth investing in. Women may start with unrealistic expectations, but they often find the deepest satisfaction in relationships built on genuine, unfiltered connection. Chapter 3. They are plagued by insecurities. Even the most confident single women wrestle with insecurities, no matter how composed they appear. These hidden vulnerabilities often influence how they approach relationships and interact with men. From concerns about their physical appearance to doubts about their career trajectory or social standing, these insecurities shape their behaviors in subtle but impactful ways. For many women, body image is a significant source of self-doubt. Society perpetuates unattainable beauty standards, leading even the most beautiful women to scrutinize themselves harshly. Whether it's dissatisfaction with their weight, facial features, or even something as minor as the texture of their hair, these insecurities can make them hyper-aware of how others perceive them. This can lead to overcompensating with meticulous grooming or a reluctance to participate in situations where they feel exposed, like social events or casual outings. Career and social status are other critical areas of vulnerability. Single women often feel the pressure to balance ambition with societal expectations, leaving them questioning if they're enough in the eyes of potential partners. Are they accomplished enough? Are they financially independent enough? These doubts can influence how they present themselves, sometimes leading them to highlight their achievements excessively or, conversely, downplay them to avoid intimidating others. To protect themselves from potential rejection or judgment, many women adopt coping mechanisms that mask their insecurities. Humor is a common shield, allowing them to deflect attention from their vulnerabilities. Aloofness, too, is a frequent defense strategy. For example, a woman might act indifferent or hard to get not because she genuinely lacks interest, but because she fears exposing herself emotionally. Exaggerated confidence can also come into play, projecting an image of self-assurance to avoid showing any signs of weakness. The key to building a meaningful connection lies in understanding and addressing these insecurities with empathy. Acknowledge her strengths without overly focusing on her flaws, and create an environment where she feels comfortable sharing her doubts. Compliments about her intelligence, kindness, or sense of humor can go a long way in making her feel valued for more than just surface-level attributes. Moreover, your actions can speak louder than words. Demonstrate that you're someone who appreciates authenticity by being genuine yourself. When you consistently show that you're interested in who she truly is, beyond her achievements, appearance, or social status, she's more likely to let down her guard. When a woman feels safe to open up, she will begin to trust you in ways that go beyond casual dating. Your ability to remain understanding and patient signals that you're not just another suitor, but someone who sees her worth and values her for who she is. This kind of connection doesn't just address insecurities, it transforms them into stepping stones for deeper intimacy and trust. By recognizing and addressing the insecurities that single women may carry, you can foster a relationship dynamic rooted in genuine care and mutual understanding. This approach not only strengthens your bond, but also allows her to feel secure in showing her authentic self, free from judgment or fear. Chapter 4. They often feel the need to impress. Single women, much like men, are deeply affected by the pressure to impress potential partners. This pressure can be overwhelming, leading them to invest significant time, energy, and emotion into curating the perfect image. From the way they dress to the stories they share, many single women feel the need to present themselves as flawless, fearing that any imperfection might diminish their chances of being seen as desirable. For some women, this starts long before a date or interaction. They might spend hours planning their outfit, choosing just the right makeup look, and agonizing over their hairstyle. Every detail is meticulously thought out to create an impression of beauty and sophistication. Even when they appear effortlessly stylish, a lot of effort has often gone into achieving that natural look. This preparation is their way of saying, "I care about this," but it also reflects the immense pressure they feel to meet societal standards of attractiveness. But it doesn't stop at appearances. Conversations are another arena where women feel the need to impress. They may rehearse topics in their minds, carefully choosing stories or insights that they believe will showcase their intelligence, humor, or emotional depth. They might avoid certain subjects out of fear of being judged or misunderstood. This need to curate every word and action can create a sense of inauthenticity, as they prioritize perfection over genuine expression. This pressure stems from deeply ingrained societal expectations. Women are often told they must be the total package to attract and keep a high-value partner. They feel they need to be beautiful, intelligent, accomplished, and emotionally stable, all while maintaining a sense of humility. This creates a nearly impossible standard, leaving many women feeling inadequate no matter how much effort they put in. The fear of falling short can drive them to present a polished version of themselves rather than their true selves. Ironically, this need to impress often backfires. In trying to appear perfect, some women unintentionally create a barrier to genuine connection. Potential partners may sense the effort to control every aspect of their presentation and perceive it as a lack of authenticity. While the intent is to attract, the result can sometimes be the opposite, leaving both parties feeling disconnected. As a man, understanding this dynamic is crucial. When you realize the amount of pressure women place on themselves, you can approach interactions with empathy and patience. Compliments can go a long way in easing their insecurities, but the key is to focus on more than just their external efforts. For example, if she has clearly spent time choosing a stunning outfit, acknowledge it, but also take the conversation deeper. Highlight her humor, insights, or kindness. This signals that you value her for who she is, not just how she looks or what she achieves. Another way to counter this dynamic is by creating an environment that encourages authenticity. Be open about your own imperfections and experiences. When you show vulnerability, you create a space where she feels safe to do the same. This mutual openness can transform a surface-level interaction into a meaningful connection. Women are more likely to let their guard down when they see that you're not looking for perfection, but for a real, honest relationship. It's also important to understand the fine line between encouraging her to relax and dismissing her efforts. If a woman has clearly gone out of her way to impress, don't downplay or ignore it. Acknowledge her effort with genuine appreciation. However, follow up by emphasizing that while you notice and admire her efforts, they are not the sole basis for your interest. For instance, you might say, "You look amazing tonight, but honestly, what I enjoy most is how easy it is to talk to you." Statements like this validate her hard work while also shifting the focus to her personality and emotional presence. From a psychological perspective, the pressure to impress often stems from a fear of rejection. Women may believe that if they don't meet certain standards, they won't be valued or chosen. By showing consistent interest and care, you can help alleviate this fear. Your actions, listening attentively, being patient, and expressing genuine appreciation, speak louder than words in proving that she doesn't need to overperform to win your approval. The Stoics believed in living authentically and rejecting societal pressures, a principle that applies here. When you demonstrate that you value substance over surface, you encourage her to embrace her true self. This doesn't mean she'll stop caring about her appearance or presentation, but it does mean she'll feel more comfortable being genuine around you. It's worth noting that the need to impress isn't inherently negative. It shows that she cares and wants to make a good impression, which is a positive sign of her interest. However, the key is ensuring that this doesn't lead to one-sided interactions where she feels pressured to perform while you remain detached. Strive for balance by showing her that you're equally invested in creating a meaningful connection. Lastly, remember that breaking down these walls takes time. If she spent years internalizing the belief that she needs to be perfect, it won't disappear overnight. Be patient and consistent in your approach. Over time, your authenticity and acceptance can help her see that she doesn't need to impress you constantly, that simply being herself is more than enough. In conclusion, single women often feel an immense, often hidden pressure to impress. From their appearance to their words and actions, they strive to present a flawless image in the hopes of attracting the right partner. By understanding and empathizing with this dynamic, you can create a connection that transcends surface-level impressions. When you focus on authenticity, mutual respect, and genuine appreciation, you not only help her feel more comfortable being herself, but also build a foundation for a deeper and more fulfilling relationship. Chapter 5. They secretly hate being single. Beneath the confident facade that many single women project, claiming they're independent and loving it, lies a deeper, often hidden truth: many secretly hate being single. While some genuinely enjoy their independence, most women wrestle with a combination of loneliness, societal judgment, and an intrinsic desire for companionship. These feelings often clash with the narratives they've built to protect themselves emotionally and socially. Women are frequently celebrated for their independence, and many take pride in being self-reliant. However, this doesn't erase their natural yearning for emotional intimacy and connection. The modern world encourages women to proclaim their happiness in solitude, yet behind closed doors, the reality is often more complex. Many single women fill their lives with distractions to cope with the quiet moments that remind them of what they are missing. Social media, constant outings, hobbies, and even fleeting relationships become tools to mask their underlying dissatisfaction. Loneliness is one of the heaviest burdens of singleness, particularly for women who crave emotional connection. Even the most independent women desire a partner who sees them, understands them, and provides unwavering support. Late-night thoughts often turn to longing for someone who genuinely cares, a confidant, a companion, a lover. This internal struggle is magnified by societal expectations that still subtly suggest a woman's value is tied to her relationship status. For many women, the fear of judgment adds another layer to their discomfort. Friends, family, and even casual acquaintances often ask probing questions about their single status, unintentionally reinforcing the stigma that being single is a problem that needs solving. These external pressures can make women double down on their independent persona, declaring that they're perfectly fine on their own, even when they secretly long for more. The longing for companionship also manifests in how women interact with the dating world. While some embrace casual flings as a temporary solution, these encounters often leave them feeling empty rather than fulfilled. Others dive into activities and friendships, hoping to find solace in busyness. Still, the desire for a meaningful relationship, one where they feel deeply valued and connected, persists. Understanding this hidden truth about single women offers an opportunity for deeper connection. As a man, your role isn't to fix her singleness or point out the contradictions in her behavior. Instead, approach with empathy and patience. Recognize that her independence isn't a rejection of companionship, but rather a shield against vulnerability and judgment. By showing genuine interest in her as a person rather than a potential partner to conquer, you create a safe space where she can explore her emotions without fear of criticism. Building trust is essential in these interactions. Many single women hesitate to show their true feelings about being alone because they fear appearing weak or needy. If you can demonstrate consistency and emotional intelligence, you'll stand out as someone who understands her complexities. Avoid pressuring her to rush into a relationship or dismissing her independence as mere pretense. Instead, focus on fostering a connection built on mutual respect and shared values. The Stoics believed in understanding human emotions without judgment, and this principle applies here. A woman who secretly dislikes being single doesn't need pity or solutions, she needs acknowledgement of her feelings. Show her that you see her struggles without diminishing her strengths. This balance allows her to let her guard down, trusting that you won't exploit her vulnerability. Another critical aspect of connecting with single women who dislike their status is patience. It's tempting to rush the process, especially if you sense her longing for companionship. However, true connection takes time. Let her set the pace while demonstrating that you're committed to building something meaningful. This approach not only eases her fears, but also reassures her that you're interested in more than just a surface-level relationship. Companionship, at its core, is about feeling seen and valued. For many single women, the hardest part of being alone isn't the lack of dates or social interactions, but the absence of someone who truly understands them. By engaging her in thoughtful conversations, listening actively, and sharing your own vulnerabilities, you bridge the gap between independence and intimacy. It's also worth noting that single women often admire men who are comfortable with their own company. When you demonstrate that you're secure in yourself and don't rely on external validation, it creates a powerful dynamic. Your confidence and self-assuredness signal that you are not seeking a relationship out of desperation, but rather as a conscious choice. This mindset aligns with her own unspoken desires, making you stand out as a potential partner. Ultimately, the secret hatred many single women feel toward their singleness isn't about disliking their lives, it's about craving a deeper connection they haven't yet found. By approaching with understanding, authenticity, and patience, you position yourself as someone who not only recognizes her struggles, but also values her strengths. And in doing so, you pave the way for a relationship that's rooted in mutual respect and genuine affection. In conclusion, single women may claim independence and happiness as their dominant narrative, but beneath the surface, many harbor a quiet dissatisfaction with their solitary status. Understanding this allows you to navigate their complexities with empathy and build a connection that goes beyond superficial interactions. With the right balance of patience, authenticity, and emotional intelligence, you can offer the companionship they secretly long for while respecting the independence they've worked hard to cultivate. Chapter 6. They're easier to win over than they admit. Single women often project an air of being hard to get, making it seem as though their hearts are locked behind a series of elaborate tests and challenges. This facade isn't entirely without reason. It's a way to filter out men who aren't serious or genuine. However, the reality is that most women are far easier to win over than they'd like to admit. Beneath the surface, they are simply looking for a few key qualities: consistency, respect, emotional connection, and genuine interest. What's important to understand is that the perceived difficulty isn't always about manipulation, it's often a defense mechanism. Many women have experienced insincerity or disappointment in the past, and their cautious approach is a way to protect themselves. By appearing aloof or high maintenance, they aim to gauge a man's intentions and ensure he's willing to put in effort. To navigate this dynamic successfully, the first step is to stay steady. Confidence and patience are your greatest assets here. A woman might initially seem distant or unapproachable, but these reactions are rarely permanent. The key is to remain authentic, showing her that your interest isn't fleeting or superficial. Women are highly attuned to inconsistency. Any hint of insincerity or impatience will reinforce their walls. On the flip side, displaying steady behavior sends a powerful message. It tells her that you're not easily deterred by games or superficial challenges, and that you value her as a person rather than as a conquest. This approach often bypasses the need for her to test you further, allowing a deeper connection to form more naturally. At the heart of this chapter lies the importance of respect. Women, whether single or in relationships, value men who genuinely listen and validate their feelings. You don't have to agree with everything she says, but showing that you care about her perspective is crucial. This kind of attention signals that you're invested in understanding her, not just pursuing her. The idea that women are hard to get is also heavily influenced by societal expectations. Many women feel pressure to present themselves as selective or unattainable because they fear being judged for showing interest too quickly. This fear creates a dynamic where she may hide her true feelings, even if she's genuinely interested in you. Recognizing this can help you approach her with empathy rather than frustration. One way to break through this barrier is to focus on building trust rather than chasing validation. For example, instead of trying to impress her with grand gestures, prioritize small, consistent actions that demonstrate your character. It could be as simple as remembering details from a previous conversation or being dependable when you say you'll do something. These gestures might seem minor, but they speak volumes about your reliability and attentiveness. It's also worth noting that women often appreciate men who show emotional intelligence. This doesn't mean overanalyzing every interaction, but being attuned to her cues and adjusting your approach accordingly. If she's testing you with playful resistance or aloofness, respond with confidence and humor rather than defensiveness or over-eagerness. Humor, in particular, can be a game changer. It helps diffuse tension and shows that you're comfortable in your own skin. While patience is crucial, it's equally important to maintain your boundaries. Sometimes, a woman's hard-to-get behavior can cross into territory that feels manipulative or one-sided. If you sense that her tests are excessive or that she's not reciprocating your efforts, it's okay to step back. Respecting yourself is just as important as respecting her, and women tend to admire men who won't compromise their values for the sake of approval. Another key to winning her over lies in demonstrating genuine care. This doesn't mean showering her with material gifts or over-the-top displays of affection. Instead, show her that you're interested in her as a person, her passions, her dreams, and even her quirks. Ask meaningful questions and listen actively to her responses. Women notice when a man takes the time to really understand them, and this can often make a greater impact than any flashy gesture. Psychologically, women are drawn to men who exhibit a combination of confidence and approachability. Confidence without arrogance signals that you're secure in yourself, while approachability shows that you're open and relatable. When these traits are balanced, it creates a magnetic presence that's difficult to resist. Finally, remember that winning her over doesn't mean breaking down her defenses in a single moment. Building a connection is a process, and the best relationships are those that evolve naturally over time. By focusing on trust, respect, and authenticity, you not only increase your chances of success, but also create the foundation for a relationship that's fulfilling for both of you. In truth, the difficulty many single women project is often a mask. They long for connection just as much as men do, but societal pressures, past experiences, and fear of vulnerability can make them hesitant to show it. By understanding this and approaching them with empathy and authenticity, you'll often find that the barriers they put up are far less formidable than they appear. And once those barriers come down, you'll see a side of her that's genuine, open, and far more rewarding than the games that initially concealed it. Chapter 7. They fear vulnerability but crave it. One of the deepest secrets single women carry is their conflicted relationship with vulnerability. They fear it because opening up means exposing themselves to potential rejection, judgment, or heartbreak. Yet, at the same time, they crave the emotional intimacy and genuine connection that only vulnerability can bring. This internal tug-of-war creates a complex dynamic where women may appear guarded or distant, even when they deeply desire closeness. For many women, vulnerability feels like a double-edged sword. On one hand, it's the key to meaningful relationships, where trust and understanding can flourish. On the other hand, being vulnerable has often led to past disappointments or betrayals, leaving emotional scars they're reluctant to revisit. This fear drives them to construct walls, use indirect communication, or test a man's patience to gauge whether he's genuinely trustworthy. To navigate this dynamic, it's essential to recognize that her reluctance to open up isn't a reflection of her feelings for you. It's a reflection of her past experiences and her need for emotional safety. Women often test how you react to challenges, conflicts, or emotional discussions. For instance, she may share a mild vulnerability, a small mistake at work, an embarrassing moment, or an anecdote from her childhood. How you respond in these moments can set the tone for deeper conversations later. If you dismiss her feelings, judge her, or fail to show empathy, she's unlikely to share more. But if you respond with understanding and respect, she begins to see you as someone who can handle her authentic self. This creates the foundation for her to gradually let her guard down. The Stoics, known for their mastery over emotions, understood the importance of balance in human interactions. They believed in remaining calm and composed, especially in situations that tested their patience or emotional resilience. Applying this philosophy can be transformative when dealing with a woman who fears vulnerability. When she hesitates to share her feelings, resist the urge to push or demand answers. Instead, practice patience and emotional steadiness. Let her feel that you're unshaken by her hesitance and that you're willing to give her the time and space she needs. Women are far more likely to open up when they sense that your interest in them is genuine and not transactional. This approach requires emotional intelligence and consistency. Emotional intelligence helps you recognize the moments when she's subtly inviting you into her world through a shared laugh, a quiet confession, or even a moment of silence. Consistency, on the other hand, shows her that you're not going to pull away the moment she exposes a part of herself. It's also important to remember that vulnerability goes both ways. If you expect her to open up, you must be willing to do the same. Share your own fears, aspirations, or past mistakes in a way that shows you're human, too. This reciprocity not only levels the playing field, but also creates a bond of mutual trust. That said, don't confuse openness with oversharing. Being vulnerable isn't about dumping your emotional baggage, it's about sharing selectively and meaningfully to build a connection. A woman who fears vulnerability will take notice when you lead by example, showing her that strength and sensitivity can coexist. Another key is to respect her pace. For some women, opening up might take weeks or months. Pushing her to share before she's ready can reinforce her fears and drive her further away. Instead, celebrate the small wins when she shares a little more about herself, expresses her fears, or lets you see her without her usual emotional armor. At the same time, maintain your own boundaries. While it's important to be supportive, it's equally important to ensure the relationship remains balanced. If her fear of vulnerability consistently prevents deeper connection, it's worth addressing the issue openly and compassionately. Let her know that while you respect her process, emotional intimacy is vital for a fulfilling relationship. Ultimately, when a woman does open up, it's a profound sign of trust. She's not just sharing her thoughts or feelings, she's offering you a glimpse into her true self, the part of her that she keeps hidden from most people. This is where the connection moves beyond surface-level attraction and into something far more meaningful. By mastering patience, empathy, and emotional steadiness, you create an environment where her fears gradually dissipate. The result? A relationship built on authenticity and mutual respect. And when she lets you in, you'll discover a depth of connection that makes the effort worthwhile. In the end, understanding this secret helps you see vulnerability not as a weakness, but as a gateway to true intimacy. Women want to be seen, heard, and valued for who they are, and not just the image they project. By showing her that you're willing to meet her where she is and grow together, you unlock a side of her that few others ever get to see. Single women's secrets aren't just mysteries, they're windows into their fears, desires, and vulnerabilities. By understanding these hidden truths, you gain the tools to build deeper, more authentic connections. Remember, it's about mutual respect and emotional intelligence. If you've experienced these dynamics or have a story to share, drop it in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video, because understanding female psychology is the key to building meaningful relationships.